ओम सदाशिवसमारंभां शंकराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ओम पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ओम शांति शांति शांतिः। ओम नमो ब्रह्मादिभ्यो ब्रह्म विद्या संप्रदाय कर्तृभ्यो वंश ऋषिभ्यो नमो गुरुभ्यः। So we were looking at the last verse or vakya of the fourth Brahmana of the first chapter. So this Brahmana is one of the most important Brahmana because here only the Mahavakya Aham Brahmasmi we saw. Now in that Aham Brahmasmi 1:4-10, wherever we saw both the Vidwan and Avidwan, about both of them it was said how they are. The Avidwan is like a Pashu to the Devas, he is like an animal to the Devas. So after talking about the Vidwan, the Upanishad went on and started talking about the Avidwan, how this Avidwan, how he becomes like a Pashu. In fact, the Avidwan Purusha becomes like a Bhogya for everybody. That's why he was called Loka also. Then the Varna Srishti also was talked about in this context, because Varna and Ashrama only gives you qualification to do karma. So the Varna Srishti was also talked about. And finally again here, Kama, desire is being talked about, because all karma is actually born from some desire, correct? So you have a desire to achieve something, and based on that only you want to do something. And these desires, even though they are countless desires are there, they can be broadly classified into only two things: either a desire for an end or a means. In fact, the desire, even one, if you say it is good enough, the desire for the means, if you say it is good enough, because the desire for the means itself is only in keeping with the end in mind. Now that's what was pointed out here. In fact, the Vakya, if you see, only Atma, here Atma is the Avidwan Purusha, ignorant person, was there alone, then desired for a wife so that he may have children, he may himself be born as children, like that it is given, because children are like Gauna Atma, okay? It's an extension of yourself only. And they will give you, again, even if you become the Pitra, they will give you the offerings to you. So that way you want children. Then you also want wealth, because with wealth only you can do the karma. And all these things, why you want? Because you want to enjoy the results of the karma. You want to go to some loka, like that. So all these things are really means for you to attain a particular end. Now the Upanishad says the desires are only so much. Okay, etavan vai kamaha. Okay, this part only now we were looking at in the Bhashya. So Bhashyakara here explained that desire is only one really. Eka eva yeshana. Okay. Lokeshana. So you want to attain some loka. But again, to attain that loka, you also have to have certain means, correct? You depend on certain means. Sadhana apeksha is there. Therefore, you also desire for the sadhana. This is said, or later on it will be said in this 351, which is also a very important vakya. Ubehyete yeshane. So two types of yeshana alone are there. Okay. And that only is now Bhashyakara is taking up here. So he says, Katham punaha etavatvam avadharyate. So here it says, etavan vai kamaha. So how does the Upanishad determine that desires are only so many? Okay, our desires are only these two. Means, because desires themselves are endless, correct? Anantatvat, kamanam anantatvat. So anantahi kamaha ityetad ashankya hetumaha. So this doubt being there, the Upanishad itself is now giving the reason for that. Why it is saying that desires are only so many. Why? Because na icchanchana, like that is there. Na icchanchana ataha bhuyaha vindet. So icchanchanaha means what? Icchanchana means what? Chana means api, icchan api. Icchanchana means icchan api, even though you desire. Ataha means asmat, from whatever these two things. Pala sadhana lakshanat. That's what he says. So bhuyaha adhikataram. More than these two, you cannot anyway gain. Na vindet, na labheta. So one cannot get anything other than either a means or an end. Only two things you can desire for, that which you do not have already. Okay, karma sadhya. Therefore, desires are either for the means or for the end. Only these two. You cannot desire for anything more than this. And Bhashyakara explains that further. Nahi loke palasadhanam vyatiriktam drishtam adrishtam va labdhavyam asti. So in this loka, in our world, phala sadhana vyatiriktam, other than phala and sadhana, other than the ends or results and the means to attain them, okay, you don't have labdhavyam to be gained, you don't have anything else. Whatever is to be gained is either a means or an end to be accomplished with that means. And that can either be drishtam adrishtam also. Because for example, if you want to go to Swarga, Swarga is not drishtapala, correct? Swarga is not drishtam. Swarga also is only indirectly known through the Veda. Assuming Veda is a pramana, we say that Swarga is there. And then you also have a desire to go there, because Veda is saying that it is a very desirable place to be for you. Okay. So the ends themselves can be something which is directly experienced here, like Putra Kameshti. Dasharatha did a Putra Kameshti, and then only Rama and his brothers were born. Now Putra Kameshti, there Putra is a Drishta Phala. But the means which is given for that, the Putra Kameshti, is unknown. That only the Veda gives you. In fact, nowadays you can even go to there are so many clinics are there. Even if you don't have children, you have some problem reproducing, you can go to all these assisted reproduction facilities are there. But I know of certain cases where even after all that, they did not have children, some problem. And people have done Putra Kameshti even in this century. Understand that. It's not that only during Ramayana time it was done. It was done even recently, some time back, and then somebody had a son. Okay. So the means is unknown means, because the Veda is telling that you put all these things into fire, you give offering to this Devata by chanting this mantra, and then you will get a son. How the connection, nobody knows. So the Veda either gives you a means for a known end like Putra, or it gives a means for an unknown end like Swarga. This is keeping Veda in mind. Even otherwise in the Loka Vyavahara, there are means and ends are there. Okay, if you, for attaining this, this is the means, like that. So, however it is, either the means themselves are known or unknown, ends are also like that. Drishtam, adrishtam, phala sadhana, vyatiriktam. So, whatever is known, unknown, whether it is means or ends, other than these two, means and ends, nothing else is to be gained. Everything else falls under these two categories. And labdavya vishayaha hi kamaha. Desire is nothing but something to be, it can only be there for something to be gained. Right? If you already have something, then you cannot desire for it. I cannot desire for a head over my shoulder, let us say. Because I already have a head over my shoulder. Maybe like Ravana, I can desire for one more head, that is different. But I cannot desire for a head. Yeah, already I have a head, correct? So anyway, here kama is for always something which you don't have, which is to be gained. And tasya cha etad vyatirekena abhavat yuktam vaktum etavan vai kamaha iti. So that desires are only with reference to these two things, means and ends, and nothing other than that. Therefore, it is tenable, it is proper to say that kama is only so much, okay, with reference to so many things. Okay, now what? Etad yuktam bhavati drishtartham adrishtartham va sadhya sadhana lakshanam avidyavat purusha adhikara vishayam yeshana dvayam kamaha. So Bhashyakara is summarizing now finally. So what is proper to say now? Whether something is for seen thing or unseen thing, drishtam, drishtartham, adrishtartham. For the purpose of something which is directly experienced, seen, or which is not directly experienced, which is unseen, unknown, and which is again characterized by either as a means or an end, sadhya sadhana lakshanam, and for which only an ignorant person is qualified, avidyavat purusha adhikara vishayam, because the vidyavan does not desire for anything other than oneself. Self itself is everything. So the jnani does not have to desire for anything other than himself, herself. Self is everything. Self is already complete, full, limitless. It doesn't lack anything. So there is no question of having any desire for something other than oneself. So all this sadhya sadhana, yeshana, kama is only for ignorant person. So this yeshana dvayam kamaha. So this desire, which is in the form of two types of longing, you can say, is only for the avidyavan. Therefore, what ataha asmad vidusha vidhatavyam. So therefore, the one who is vidwan has to give up these desires. Vidhatavyam. Okay. This Bhashyakara is giving. So Bhashyakara says, as a vidusha here means jnani, or even one who is vividisha is there, for whom the desire to know, the desire for moksha and desire to know, whoever has that, such a person has to give up desires for external things. For a jnani, it is natural, because there is nothing external other than oneself. So whatever is naturally there for the jnani becomes a sadhya, okay, something to be accomplished, to be gained for the mumukshu and jignasu. The qualities of a jnani does not have any desire for anything other than himself or herself. Cannot have. That is the nature of the knowledge itself, in fact. So it is not something you have to willfully not desire. It is not like that. Understand it. Don't start thinking from tomorrow that no, I am having desire, something wrong and all that. Bhagavan only is manifest as your desire also. As an individual, desires are a privilege. It is a Shakti. It is a manifestation of Bhagavan like anything else. What one has to appreciate is your individuality itself is mithya. The idea that I am an individual itself is wrong. That itself has to be given up. If the individuality is gone, you are only a conscious being who is everything. You are consciousness alone for whom everything becomes evident. You are the invariable in every cognition. So, you are not a karta, bhokta. The mind and the body, all these things are just active in the presence of the Atma. Atma is not even a doer. It is like in the presence of the sun, so many things are happening. But you cannot give a kartritvam to the sun for that, correct? When the sun rises, the world becomes active. But the sun does not have any kartritvam that I am making the world active and all that. Similarly, in the presence of the conscious being, everything is as they are. Shrotrasya shrotram, manaso manaha, and all we say that's why. So that conscious being you are not karta bhokta. You are not lacking anything. You are the limitless. So with this understanding, there cannot be any desire or anything. All desires are as good as fulfilled. Your ananda is nirapeksha ananda, means it is not dependent on anything else. See, that's why two words are normally said, abhyudaya, nishreyas. Okay. So what is this abhyudaya? Abhyudaya means we say worldly, whatever you can attain. Something pleasant, something desirable you want to attain in this world or in some other world hereafter also. It's all it is all under what we call as abhyudaya. Even Bhashekara here he says, see, atha vittam ye syat karma sadhanam gavadi lakshanam. Atha aham abhyudaya nishreyasa sadhanam karma. So the karma is the means for both abhyudaya and nishreyas. Now, karma is actually sakshat karanam for abhyudaya phala. Abhyudaya means vishayabhimukyena udeti. When you are in contact with the vishaya, then you gain some sukha, some ananda, some joy. So you like ice cream very much. While eating ice cream, you are having ananda. You are enjoying yourself. Maybe you even have a favorite restaurant or a favorite table. You go there and sit and have ice cream and you are enjoying. But if you do not go there, or if you do not get your favorite flavor of ice cream, then you are not enjoying. Unless you are in contact with that particular ice cream, your senses have to be in contact with that. At that time only you are enjoying. Correct? That is what is called abhyudaya. Vishayabhimukyena udeti. Only when you have contact with that sense object, that joy is born. Otherwise it is not there. So it is dependent. And it is anitya. For that very reason, it is not something which will be there always. In fact, the second time you may not enjoy so much. Even that ice cream, if I give you one whole tub of that ice cream, you cannot eat it. Only so much you can eat. Afterwards, it becomes too much. Correct? You cannot enjoy it. But nishreyas means what? Nirapekshena shreyas it is. Means without depending on anything else. There is no apeksha and anything else, and it is ananda for you. Now, karma can also become a sadhana for nishreyas because indirectly, when it becomes yoga. Okay. That's why even in Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavan says, keep doing karma. So anyway, here, for a jnani, one who has attained nishreyas means nirapeksha ananda. Therefore, there is no question of desiring for anything else. Already I am total, complete, full. Even if some desire is there, that is all part of prarabdha only. That is all again Ishvara's leela. From your own completeness, some desire is there. That is not binding desire really. You can do whatever. That's okay. So therefore, what this desires one has to give up means the jnani gives it up because of the understanding. The ajnani also has to at least start managing one's desires. That itself is success. You manage your desires and not your desires are managing you. That is the most important thing here. Once you start managing your desires, you become qualified for moksha. So that is the idea here. Now continuing, Bhashyakara what he says, Yasmat evam avidvan anatmakami purvaha kamayamasa. So therefore, because in this manner, this avidvan who is anatmakami means who is desire of something other than oneself. Purvaha before, long before, okay, kamayamasa, he desired like this. Tatha purvataraha, even before that also it was like that, because kalpa, in every kalpa, in every srishti, in every cycle of creation, it is like this. And so Bhashyakara says, Yesha lokasthitihi. So this is how that is the status of this world. In this world, it is like this. Okay. So everybody is, who is an ajnani, is only desiring for things other than oneself. And not just anybody. Even Prajapati is like that. That's what we saw in 141 itself. Okay, from 141 onwards. Prajapati, who is so exalted, initially felt afraid. Okay, so Bhashyakara is going to say that. So Prajapatescha evam yesha sargaha asit. So the Prajapati also had a creation, and in this manner it was there. What is that? The Prajapati created this entire world, we say, correct? This entire Srishti, whatever we are seeing now, is the result of the creation done by this Prajapati. So Prajapatehe evam yeshaha sargaha asit means this creation in this manner only happened, even for Prajapati. How? He first feared, saha abhibhet, avidyaya, due to ignorance. This Prajapati had fear. And then what? Tataha kama prayuktaha ekaki aramamanaha. And therefore what? Again, due to ignorance, he had desire. He had fear, he had desire also. What desire he had? Okay, that desire we'll see, but he had desire, and how he had this desire means he was alone, therefore he did not enjoy that aramamanaha. He was bored, he was alone, and then he had a desire for what? Arati upaghataya, to remove this arati, to remove this boredom, loneliness. Okay, and impelled by his desire, what desire he had now? Striyam aichat, he desired for a companion, okay, a female. So this Prajapati desired like this. That's how the whole creation starts. Tam sambhavat, samabhavat. So then he became one with this he created that creation and all we saw actually in the beginning of this chapter. So both of them then together they started this creation. Tataha sargaha ayam asid itihi uktam. So from there again all this creation started. So the Manushya Shrishti, Pashu Shrishti, Deva Shrishti, everything was discussed. So like this only the Srishti itself started. Prajapati himself had this desire. Therefore what? Tasmat. So here actually in the Upanishad Mula you see only Tasmat is there. So Ataha Bhuyaha Vindet Tasmat. No, this Tasmat only Bhashyakara said all this story. So this therefore means what? Because Prajapati himself desired like this. Okay, so Tasma Tat Srishtau Etarhi Etasminnapi Kale Ekaki San Prag Darak Kriyataha Kamayate. So since Prajapati desired like that, even up to this day and this time right now, okay, so he desired and then the creation happened. Therefore in this creation, even now, etasmin api kale, etarhi means etasmin api kale, even up to this time, one who is alone, ekaki san, being single, being alone, prag darak kriyataha kamayate. So first what you desire for a dara, wife, and how jaya may syat, may have a wife, like that. And then what? Thereafter, prajayeya, also you desire for a child. Vittam me syat, atha vittam me syat. Then what? May have wealth. Atha karma kurviyet. And thereafter let me do karma. So this vakya which is there here, tasmat etarhi ekaki kamayate jaya me syat, atha prajayeya, atha vittam me syat, atha karma kurviyet. Karma kurviya. Okay, up to this is yuktam, he says. This vakya. So atha karma kurviya iti uktartham vakyam. So this whatever the Upanishad says here, this is the meaning, because even Prajapati was like that. So everybody else even now they are also going through the same thing. So saha evam kameyamanaha sampadayenscha jayadin yavat saha etesham yatoktanam jayadinam ekaikamapi na prapnoti akritsnaha asampurnaha aham ityeva tavat atmanam manyate. So now continuing. So yavad api etesham ekaikam na prapnoti akritsnaha eva tavan manyate. This is the portion now Bhashyakara is giving commentary. So what he says, in this manner, one who is desiring, evam kameyamanaha, sampadayenscha, and he has to now gain whatever he is desiring, one has to obtain all that, correct? This wife, etc. And until you obtain that or gain that, okay, all these things, one by one you have to gain. You have to first have a wife, child, wealth, then you have to do karma. All these things, if you do not gain, na prapnoti, then what happens? Akritsnaha, asampurnaha, you are not complete, you are incomplete. Akritsnaha means asampurnaha, you are sampurnam. Sampurnaha means complete, full, whole. But asampurnaha, incomplete. So I am not complete. Ityeva tavat atmanam manyate. The person, the avidwan, one who desires for all these things, until that person gains these things, he considers himself to be only incomplete. And parisheshyat, okay, and by implication, what does it mean? Or conversely, what is implied by this is what? Samastan eva etan sampadayati yada tada tasya kritsnata. So conversely, if he gains all these things, okay, wife and children, wealth, then he is able to do a lot of karma, all these things, if he gains, then what? He is complete. At least the Avidwan thinks like that, okay? So that conversely he is complete only then. But now, not everybody is able to do that. So now Upanishad is giving you an upaya. Upanishad is giving you a way out. Okay, what is that? Let us see. Yadatu na shaknoti kritsnatam sampadayatum tada asya kritsnatva sampadanaya aha. So the Upanishad is now going to talk about what? See, if you are not able to gain all these things, okay, then what? Still, for you to attain completeness, Upanishad is now going to give you a way. What is that? Tasyo. So again here it starts. Tasyo Krishnata Mana eva asya atma, like that it starts. So that's what Tasyo means. Tasya, for that person who is akritsnaha, akritsnatva abhimaninaha, the one who thinks that he is incomplete because he does not have all these things. For that person, what? Kritsnata iyam evam bhavati, completeness, it happens in this manner, he says. How? Katam ayam karya karana sanghataha pravibhajyate. So this whole karya karana sanghata means what? This body only, physical body and senses. Physical body is the karya, because it is the one which is born out of your own karma, correct? So it is the result of your karma. Then you are using all this indriya and manas. So they are all karana. So karya karana sanghata means this collection of physical body and indriya and mind, etc., is now being divided, pravibhajyate, and into these things, whatever we talked about, wife, etc. And then you have to visualize, you have to do upasana. So the Upanishad is now giving you an upasana so that you can become complete. And what is this upasana? In this, tatra manaha anuvrittihi itarat sarvam karya karana jatamiti manaha pradhanatvat atma iva atma. So here Upanishad is now telling you that mana eva asya atma. So the mind itself is that person's self. Like that you have to do upasana here. And how you can say mind is the self? Because following the mind only, all the other organs and body and all, they act, correct? So that way, mind is like the self. So mind can be now visualized as the self. So itarat sarvam karya karana jatam iti. So after the mind only, all these other things are born and they also act according to the whatever is there in the mind. So manas is the pradhana. Therefore, it is like atma, it is like the self. In fact, Bhashyakara further explains that yatha jayadinam kutumba patihi atma iva tad anukaritvat jayadi chatushtayasya evam ihapi mana atma parikalpyate krishnatayai. So, like even wife and others in a family, they are following the head of the household. Okay. So whoever is the head of the household, that person, he is like the leader in the family. All others follow him. Similarly, all this wife, etc. here, correct? Wife, son, then the wealth, karma, and everything is for the self only. And here mind is to be considered as that self. Okay, so evam ihapi mana atma parikalpyate kritsnatai, and for attaining this completeness, you have to parikalpyate means you have to visualize this mind as the atma, because for the purpose of, for the sake of atma only, the other things are there, wife, son, etc. And in real life also, how everybody follows the head of the household. Similarly, the body and the mind, etc. Sorry, the body and the all the other senses follow the mind. So mind is like the self or the head of the household, and that is to be now visualized as atma for the purpose of attaining this completeness. Then what? Okay, mind is the atma, self. Tatha vag jaya, speech is the wife. So mano anuvrittitva samanya vachaha, again speech follows whatever is there in the mind, correct? And wife also follows the husband, like that. Here mano anuvrittitva samanyat, therefore vag is like wife. You have to visualize your speech as wife. Again here Bhashyakara further he says vag iti shabdas chodanadi lakshanaha. What is the meaning of vag here? It is shabdaha, words or speech, which is like chodanadi lakshana means, chodanadi lakshanaha means that which is characterized with by, chodana means mandating. The Veda is mandating you to do so many things. Vidhi, it is giving you vidhi, nisheda and all that. Okay, you have to do this, you should not do this, like that. All that is the chodana, speech. And manasa shrotra dwarena grihyate avadharyate prayujyate cha iti manasaha jaya eva vak. So here, by listening to it only you gain. Okay, the mind is gaining all this vak through one's ears, and then it determines avadharyate prayujyate cha iti manasaha jaya eva vak. So this vak is like the wife of the mind, because the mind again gains all this speech through the ears, and then whatever is there in the mind only, again it is coming out as your speech. Okay, so that's why this vag jaya, vag, speech is like the wife for the mind. Mind is the self. The mind is the self, speech is like the wife. That is what you have to visualize. Okay, tabhyam cha vag manasabhyam jaya patistaniyabhyam prasuyate pranaha karmartham iti pranaha praja iva. Now this vak and mind, which are like wife and husband, okay, they give birth to this prana, because without prana you cannot do anything, correct? Without prana there is no life in the body, you cannot act, there is no activity, only dead body will be there if prana is not there. So karmartham pranaha, without prana you cannot have any karma or activity. So for the purpose of karma, prana is born out of this mind and speech. And that is like the child, praja iva. So tatra prana cheshtadi lakshanam karma chakshur drishta vitta sadhyam bhavati iti chakshur manusham vittam. Okay, further what? Pranaha praja, then chakshur manusham vittam, like this the moolam is there. So Bhashyakara is saying, so tatra prana cheshtadi lakshanam karma. Now to do all activities with the prana, still you require eyes, correct? Without eyes, you cannot do so many things. It's very difficult. Only by seeing through your eyes, you are able to do things properly. Even blind people manage to live in this world, but they cannot do many things as easily. So seeing through your eyes only, you are doing all the chesta, all the activities with your prana. So this karma, which is characterized by activities of the prana, is chakshur drishta vitta sadhyam. It is like, it is sadhyam, it is possible because you are seeing through your eyes, and because of eyesight only so many activities you can do. Similarly, this karma itself can be done only with wealth, lot of wealth. So here this whatever manusham vittam means human wealth is like eyes, because seeing with eyes only you can do things. Similarly, with wealth only you can do karma. Therefore, eyes have become manusham vittam, human wealth. And again, wealth itself is of two types. Okay, tad vividham vittam, manusham itaracha. So one is human, then there is another which is daivi, which is like divine, you can say. Okay, devam. Here, chakshushahi tad vindate. Like that, even Upanishad itself is giving an explanation here. So that's what we saw here. Chakshushahi yasmat tan manusham vittam vindate. Okay, that is coming later. But even before that, here Bhashyakara, this vittam itself is two types. Manusham itaracha. So one is human, another one is there. What is that? Ataha vishinashti itara vitta nivrityartham manusham iti. Okay, why this manusham adjective is there? Bhashyakara is there to differentiate it from the other wealth, because wealth is of two types. Therefore, this manusham adjective has been used to show it differently from the other wealth. And what is the wealth of human being? Gavadihi manushya sambandhi vittam, cow, etc. Now, cows were considered to be important part of the wealth. That's why they even say cow, etc. here. Wealth means cows in those days. Even if one king has to start a fight with another king, they will go and first round up all their cattle in the other king's territory. That's how they started the invasion and all that. So, Gavadihi Manushya Sambandhi Vittam, the wealth connected to human beings, with reference to human beings, is what? All these cows, etc. And Chakshur Grahyam Karma Sadhanam. And these are all again seen through your eyes only. This Manushya Vittam. And they are all Karma Sadhanam. They are all again means for doing this karma. Vittam is the Karma Sadhanam. And Vittam itself is seen through your eyes and only gained. That way also you can say that. So that's why Upanishad says, Sakshushahi tad vindate, he says. So for that, Bhashyakara is trying to give the explanation here. So he says, Tasmat tat sthaniyam tena sambandhat chakshur manusham vittam. Therefore, what? This chakshu is the manusham vittam, he says. There is a connection between the eyes and the wealth also. Okay, therefore, it is the human wealth. And further, he is now explaining Chakshusha hi yasmat tan manusham vittam vindate gavadi upalabhyate iti arthaha. So all this human wealth is gained by first looking at them, correct? By seeing them only. Therefore, these eyes have to be treated as human wealth, or it has to be visualized as human wealth. And then what is the other wealth? Kim punaha itaradvittam. He says Shrotram Daivam. Ears are the divine wealth, it seems. Okay, Shrotram Devam. So this is the divine wealth. Ears. Why? Deva Vishayatvat Vijnanasya Vijnanam Daivam Vittam. So this Upasana, through Upasana only you gain punya to go to higher lokas. So that is where you become a deva, let us say. So deva vishayatvat vijnanasya. Here vijnana is really upasana only, vidya or upasana. Therefore, this upasana is daivam vittam. It is the divine wealth. And tadiha shrotrameva. Here it is ears only. Why? Because sampatti. Shrotrameva sampatti vishayam. Through ears only you hear about all this upasana from the Shruti, correct? And then only you can do the upasana. They are all Shrotra Vishayam. Therefore, ears become the divine wealth. Kasmat, how you can say this means he says Shrotrena hi yasmat tat daivam vittam vijnanam shrunoti. So you hear about all these upasanas through your ears, because Shruti was Karna Parampara only, correct? Only nowadays we are studying, printing and all that came very, very late. Even today it is only a oral tradition. Through ears only you hear. Therefore, what? Ataha Shrotra Adhinatvat Vijnanasya Shrotrameva Tadidi. So this upasana is dependent on you hearing the Shruti. Therefore, the ears themselves are now called as Daivam Vittam. So like this you have to visualize. The mind is yourself, speech is your wife, prana is your children or child, and then you have eyes are your human wealth, ears are your divine wealth. All these things you have now, all the wealth, all these 5 things you have. These 5 things are anyway required even otherwise, correct? If you are going to do it and you want to attain completeness, you require these 5 things. And here, by visualizing these 5 things in yourself, you do this upasana, and then you attain Kritshnata. That's what is going to come here. So, Kim punaha etaihi atmadi vittan taihi iha nirvartyam karma iti uchyate. So now with all these things, these 5 things, okay, atmadi, starting from atma onwards, what are you going to perform or what are you going to accomplish with these things? Starting from self to the this wealth, this divine wealth, okay, are 2 types of wealth. With all these things, what are you going to accomplish? Nirvartyam means accomplishing or performing or doing. That is karma. You are going to do karma. And here what is karma? In this upasana, karma also has to be visualized. Karma is nothing but your physical body, atma eva. So that is there here, correct? Karma, atma eva asya karma, it is there here, correct? So that also is visualized. Now here atma is physical body, atmeti shariram uchyate. So contextually the word atma can mean many things. In some place atma will mean your antakarana or mind. In some place it can mean physical body. You have to take it based on the context. Or it simply means the conscious self, individual self also. It can mean many things, the word atma. So here atma is used for sharira, for the physical body. Again, katham punaha atma karmastaniyaha. How can you say this physical body is like the karma? Because This physical body itself is born out of karma only. That's what he says. Asya karma hetutvat. So due to prarabdha karma only, this body as you have taken up, correct? So the physical body can be considered as the karma which is to be done using all these 5 things, starting from self up to the divine wealth. So katham karma hetutvam. So how can you say this physical body has this karma as the cause? Or karma itself is done, okay, sorry, here we can look at it other way also. Karma hetutva means physical body is the cause for activity. That way also you can look at it. Because only with physical body, atmana hi sharirena yataha karma karoti. So you can do karma only with your physical body. Therefore, physical body is the cause for all this karma, whatever rituals you are supposed to do otherwise. So the physical body itself is now looked upon as the karma which is to be done with these 5 things. Therefore, what? Now you have visualized everything, the 5 things and plus the result, which is the karma. So tasya akritsnatva abhimaninaha evam kritsnata sampanna. So in this manner, the one who thought that he is incomplete, he is now gained completeness. Similar to what yatha bahya jayadi lakshana evam. So it is even similar to the one who is anyway going and gaining a wife, children, and all these different types of wealth and then doing karma, correct? Similar to that, only by visualizing and doing this upasana, you have also gained the completeness. So tasmat sa esha panktaha panchabihi nirvrittaha panktaha yajnaha. So this yajna is panktaha. This is called panktaha. Panktaha means what? Panchabihi nirvrittaha. It is accomplished or performed by these 5 factors which we discussed already, correct? Starting from self, wife, children, and then 2 types of wealth. With all these things only you can do yajna or karma. And so the yajna itself is called panktaha, that which is accomplished by these 5 factors. And now this yajna, for a normal person, he goes and gains all these things, starting from wife. But here it is only through visualization. Darshana matra nirvrittaha akarminaha api. So even the one who did not go and get married and all that, that person also has now accomplished this by only doing darshana, means here visualization, upasana. Therefore, what? Katham punaha asya panchatva sampati matrena yajnatvam. So how you can say that this person, whatever, visualizing these 5 things, okay, he has done this yajna, all the karma like that. How you can say? Means uchyate, that is being said here. What? Yasma bahyaha api yajnaha pashu purusha satyaha. So the external yajna also is accomplished by purusha and pashu and all that, correct? Animals, those are the wealth in fact. Similarly, and those pashu and purusha also are panktaha. They also have these 5 factors, starting from mind onwards. Okay. Yatokta mana adi panchatva yoga. So they also have mind, eyes, ears, prana. Therefore, what? They are also pankta, and you have now visualized these 5 factors in yourself, and because of that you have gained a certain yajnatvam, means you have, by visualizing only all these 5 factors, you have accomplished whatever is to be accomplished through the yajna. And all these other things also have these 5 factors. That is what is said here. Sa esha panktaha yajnaha. So this yajna is accomplished by these 5 factors. But these 5 factors are there. If you look at it as mind, speech, then ears, eyes, and prana, that is there in animals also, all these 5 things. And these 5 things are there in human being also. Purushaha. So Panktaha Pashuhu Gavadihi Panktaha Purushaha. Okay, now that is being said here. Now Bhashyakara says, why this Pashu and Purusha are said differently? Because Purusha also, human being also is an animal in one way. So Pashutvepi Adhikritattvena asya Visheshaha Purushasya iti Prithak Purusha Grahanam. So why the Upanishad is separately saying Purushaha Panktam is because Purusha is only Adhikritaha, is the one who is qualified for this Pankta Upasana. So he is being said separately, even though he is part of the animal kingdom, right? Pashutvepi Adhikritattvena asya Visheshaha Purushasya iti Prithak Purusha Grahanam. Purusha Grahanam means the Purusha is being mentioned there separately because this human being is specially qualified for this. Therefore, he is mentioned separately. Okay, Kim Bahuna Panktam idam sarvam karma sadhanam phalam cha yadidam kincha yad kinchit idam sarvam. So here, then further, idam sarvam yadidam kincha, like that it continues here. So Bhashyakara here he says, Kim Bahuna Panktam idam sarvam. By all these things, this Panktam, what are we going to get? Okay, means karma sadhanam phalam cha. So you will get the karma sadhana and the phala. Whatever is the means for doing the karma and the karma phala, all that you will get. That is what is yadidam kincha yat kinchit idam sarvam. So this, all the karma sadhana and karma phala you get by this upasana, this pankta upasana, these 5 factors. So in this manner, the one who has gained this 5-fold factors and the yajna, the karma itself, okay, for him what? Saha tadidam sarvam jagat. So what is the phala finally? Yaevam veda. But before that, idam sarvam apnoti. So the person who is doing this upasana, he gains everything which is to be gained by the karma, okay, and its phala. Therefore, he gains what? Sarvam jagat, the entire srishti, universe. Atmatvena apnoti. Apnoti is there. Bhashyakara puts an adjective here, Atmatvena, as the self only. The one who knows in this manner and does this upasana, eventually he gains Atma Jnanam only. Okay? He becomes qualified for Atma Jnanam and he gains Atmatvena apnoti. All these things he sees as oneself. Like this, that is the phala. So this upasana has been given here, Pankta upasana, and by doing this, one gains, or if you have to say relative phala means Atmatvena apnoti means then he becomes Prajapati. Otherwise, we have to say Prajapati phalam he gets. If it is not moksha, he sees everything as his own self. That way also we can take it. So iti prathamadhyayasya chaturtham brahmanam. So we have successfully completed this 4th brahmana with today's class. This was one of the most important brahmanas. Okay, if you see from the beginning, starting with Atma eva idam agre asit purusha vidaha. So in the form of like that it starts. In fact, the first one gives an interesting etymology for the word purusha also. Okay, sarvam purvaha asmat sarvasmat sarvan papmanaha aushat tasmat purushaha. Like this, it gives a etymology for purusha. Then saha abhibhed, this Prajapati feared. And here also one very important quotation which is quoted a lot. Dvitiyad vai bhayam bhavati. Only from the second, only if there is a second thing there will be fear, correct? There has to be a bhaya karana. If the bhaya karana itself is not there, there is no fear. So this Dvitiyad vai bhayam bhavati is very much quoted by Bhashyakara also in many other contexts. Then he did not enjoy being alone. That starts here. Savai naiva reme tasmad ekaki na ramate. Therefore, anybody who is alone even up to this day does not enjoy. And so he decided for a second, Dvitiyam aichat. Then the Srishti starts here. Okay. And then here this Pashu Srishti, Manusha Srishti and all is talked about. So Sarvam Asrikshi iti tataha Shrishtihi abhavad. Then the sixth Deva Srishti also is talked about. Okay, first Agni alone is talked about. Agni Masrijata. So Deva Srishti is there. Then 147, where the Pravesha Shruti is talked about. Here we saw huge Bhashya is there. Okay, the Avyakrita becomes Vyakrita. The undifferentiated becomes differentiated, and then this Paramatma only entered. Sa iha pravishtaha, sa esha iha pravishtaha. This is again called Pravesha Shruti. Atma entered means what? What is the meaning of this entry? There was a huge Bhashya here. Okay, so that is very important. And then the Vidya Sutram it is called. Okay. Atmaiva upasita. It is hidden somewhere here. Atmaiva, Atma ityeva upasita. This is the Vidya Sutram. Here also we had a lot of Bhashya. And then 8 and 9 and then Aham Brahmasmi, 1, 4, 10. Very important again. So here also we saw a lot of Bhashya was there. And then Tasmat Tat Sarvam Abhavat. So what is the phala of this jnanam also is given here. And then one who is an Ajnani, about him also it says here, Atma hi esham sabhavati atayo anyam devatam upaste anyaha asau anyaha ahamasti iti nasa veda. Like this avidya. This is called Avidya Sutra. We saw Vidya Sutra, Avidya Sutra. And then all this, we saw the other, in this, the Varna Srishti and all that, mainly about the Avidya Avastha it was talked about, and finally this Pankta Upasana. So with this Brahmana is over. We will continue with the next Brahmana next week. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.
धन्यवादः.
धन्यवादः गुरुजी.